you do, Mr. Governing Body, the legislature, okay? So that's what we need to understand. So regardless of who is there,
you know what though?
We got somebody they have to answer to.
For the longest time, though, I don't think, and it's funny you say that, and that's true, and that's the way it's supposed to work. But I think for the last 8 years, George Bush's powers have basically been unchecked.
Oh,
not just because they had a majority Republican control Senate and House, but because of the fact you had 9/11, which gave him a free pass to do whatever the hell he wanted to do.
Amen.
Point blank. They gave him a free pass to do whatever he wanted to do without question.
Without question.
And if you questioned it, guess what? You're unpatriotic.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
You're you were made to be a terrorist.
You know what I'm saying? If you question
it. You know what I'm saying? Even when the war started and I would have dissenting opinions about the war, people around me like, you're not American. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'm very American. If you told me we was going to Afghanistan, which we did do, but not with the force that we went to Iraq with, then damn it, guess what?
You know what kills
Something
me?
Wrong.
You know what kills me though? The misdirect. And I gotta speak on this just for a minute. The misdirect that they were able to pull off in Iraq. Tying Iraq to terrorism, tying Iraq to Al Qaeda, bro. They talk about, well, if we leave Iraq now, it's going to become a hotbed for terrorists. They created the hotbed in the first place.
Exactly.
You know, Saddam, in lack of a better term, Saddam wasn't having it.
No, because he wasn't a terrorist.
He was a terrorist.
He was
a terrorist. Saddam was not having it.
He didn't want no competition.
Saddam didn't want no parts with the United States. He didn't want a damn thing to do with the United States at all. He had already went through the Gulf War in '91. He saw the power the United States had. He didn't want no parts of it.
I done had my ass beat once. I ain't going out there no more.
He just wanted to have his own little regime over there, do his own little thing, terrorize his own people, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? For them to be able to tie 9/11 and all that to Iraq, and still to this day, people, you know, make that tie-in with Iraq and terrorism, and it kills me. For the life of me, I don't understand how they were able to pull that. And I know you got places like Fox News and this and that spin and weave the news to their particular political bends or whatever. And I realize you have that out there, but I don't understand how people were just misled like that. For the life of me, I don't understand.
I understand.
But you knew. I knew. It was a brother I worked, man, in the sales office. I worked with a 50-year-old brother I was talking to. And he called, at the beginning of the invasion, he called the war just like it happened, man. He told me, he said, the U.S. is going to go over there. This is before all the analysis and all the people with the Harvard and Yale PhDs and political science and civil science, this and that. Before all that, he said the U.S. is going to go over there and they're going to find out why Saddam had to behave the way he had to, because it's a different culture over there than it is over here.
And they don't have powers over there.
Right. He had to almost rule with an iron fist to keep all those tribes and all that
factions in check.
All those factions in check. That's the way. That's almost the way that he had to run that particular country. You know what I'm saying? And the U.S. came over, they did, and they're finding out exactly what he told me. He also told me, he said, what's going to wind up happening, they're going to go over there, they're going to get frustrated, they're going to eventually pull out. Iraq's going, you know, all the terrorists and everything will come into Iraq. It's going to be a hotbed for terrorism because you don't have any type of political structure there, no kind of government there, no kind of military there. And then what's going to happen is going to be a civil war in Iraq. And that's exactly what's taking place. And let me tell you something, even though the Democrats are quick to say, okay, let's get out of there. If they get out of there, it's going to be complete chaos. If you stay there, it's going to be complete chaos. There's no easy answer to it.
And let me tell you something.
That's the thing.
Since we on the topic, there is no we getting out of it.
There's no quick
answer. There is no getting out. There is no getting out. I don't care who the president is. The American public might
can't
say
do it.
Hell with it. It's not gonna happen.
Can't do it.
We there to stay, and we're there to stay. And what needs to truthfully happen, and in case you guys are unaware of what's going on, I'll just tell you real briefly. And I'm not gonna do your own damn research. If you're watching this show, you got no sense to do that. This war was prefaced on 9/11. The underlying root cause was money, that being the oil, because that is what our dollar is based on. If we lose control of it, which was about to happen, then our country would become a second or third world country, and no one here wants that to happen. Now, you go do the research on it. I'm not in support of the war under the pretext in which it was started. Now, that being said, you come out and tell me the truth, Mr. Government. You tell me I won't be able to go to McDonald's and get my Big Mac. I won't be able to drive my $70,000 car. I won't have my $500,000 crib.
Yeah.
Nigga, I'm gonna ask you for a gun. All right. Now let's move on from that. The next
check this out. I gotta say one more thing. I gotta say one more thing, man. And this is the crazy part about it, right?
Right.
This is the ironic part, right?
Okay.
Now, like you said, we're not going to be able to leave Iraq.
No, we're not going
Let's just be
nowhere.
honest. We're not going to be able to leave anytime.
We can send our kids to school over
now,
there. Shit.
The whole reason for 9/11, was American presence in the Holy Land in the first place. So this shit ain't gonna end. You know what I'm saying? For lack of this shit's not gonna end.
Lights out.
This shit's not gonna end, bro.
That's how we gonna be involved in our
These ones have had, man. These cats over here have had wars for generations and generations and generations and generations and generations and generations, man. It's not gonna end. 5 years is nothing. Is a pebble in the sand for these people, man.
Nothing.
These people been warring for thousands of years, bro.
I heard somebody say, "How do you beat an enemy who want to die?"
Right. I feel you. Or better yet, a war on an ideology. It's like the war on drugs.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
If we had, I would have a job.
It'll never end, man.
It's not an endable war. It's not a solution.
It's self-perpetuating. And the means that we're using to combat the war on terrorism is doing nothing else but perpetuating and embedding more terrorism. It's creating more terrorists.
Now, flip thing that could have happened over there in order to avoid all this war crap. We could have went over there with an olive branch and be like, listen, we know what y'all thinking about doing, changing the oil over to the euro versus the dollar. That's not a good idea. Because if you do that, we're going to have some serious issues in America. And if we have some serious issues in America, us being the largest powerhouse in the world as far as military is concerned, then we're going to start dropping bombs and we're not asking a lot of questions.
And single country, economic.
You know what I'm saying?
Economics, as far as single country, economically, we're the powerhouse. Economically.
So now, how about this? We're going to make it so that you can deal with your man Saddam Hussein. We're going to get him back in check. Just give him some more money. That's all you have to do. You're going to keep selling oil on the dollar. China is not going to come over here and affect any damn thing. As a matter of fact, we're going to control how much oil we send to China.
Right. And
this is a backroom deal that America's been cutting for at least for the last 65, 70 years. Okay? So my point is that we had a leader in office who did not know how to think. We had people around him who were warmongers and saw that they could profit from the destruction.
War profiteers.
Exactly, they were war profiteers. And we knew that this war was going to be in place in his presidency. It was already predestined. The only thing was they needed a catalyst, and they used 9/11 as the catalyst. So
it was perfect.
It was perfect.
It was
perfect. Everything came together to his favor. So that's where we ended up. Now, again, as it stands right now today, as what we have to deal with here on our side of the water, and what we have to deal with as far as who's going to lead us through this murky water that we find ourselves in, you know, what is it going to take for that particular president?
Oh, dude, you can't do it in 4 years. And you couldn't do it in 4 years.
It's not possible. But what can we put in place now to, number one, change, because we're not leaving, we already got that established. How do we change our presence from being one of a enforcement type of presence to one of a protective type of presence, and because we've already gained the control of the oil. So now what we need is for them to figure out how they're going to get some type of political structure, whether it be another dictatorship or some type of parliament system. I don't give a damn what they do.
Right.
But my point is,
put something in place.
We need to have a public government in place so we can go ahead and then regulate what the hell is going on over there without losing so many lives.
I don't think
and just do it that way.
And I think that's the $1 million question. I don't know if it's at this stage of the game. I don't even know if that's possible.
Who in your opinion though, running for president, at least has the act?
Oh, Barack. If nothing else, and this is gonna sound real simple. If nothing else, simply because of the color of his skin. And his heritage. If nothing else, the color of his skin, being that the same way Jesse Jackson was able to go over to Libya and have that American fighter freed back in the day. Ronald Reagan tough talked all the tough talk and this and that. If Ronald Reagan had done negotiating, the brother would have been beheaded. You know what I'm saying? Jesse Jackson was able to go over there and free him. You know what I'm saying? Because he went over there with the olive branch in hand, saying to him,